You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Well, Pavanamente, your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, keeping it going with those indie homies that are just killing the game. This homie right here, I've known him for 10 years. Yes, 10 years ago, when you reviewed this Comic Crusaders, I checked that, and it was 10 years ago. Wow, time does fly. But I seen this man journey be waves and whatnot, but he keeps navigating like one of those cool surfer dudes, man. He is a writer, an educator, the man behind Rapid City, man. He is an indie comic book man to the core. He is a legend out here in Massachusetts. The one, the only Mr. Josh Dahl. Well, homie, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Al. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm energized. I'm having a good time, brother. Happy to see you. You know what I mean? Again, 10 years. I saw that. I was like, wow, man, time flies. I've been out up and about here for quite a while.
just 10, 15 minutes ago, I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm doing that podcast. And I was like, I haven't done, it feels like I used to kind of do podcasts every once in a while, but I was like, do I have a microphone? What software do I need?
The green room experience was fun, folks. You know, my man, all happy, but I heard nothing. I unfortunately do not know how to read lips, but that's all right. All right. For those that don't know, you know, my big old man over here, Josh, introduce yourself. You know, again, you know, OG from, and you know, what's the first thing in fandom you fell in love with?
Okay, good one. So my name is Josh Dahl. I used to and likely will again make indie comics. I made Rapid City Below Zero, Rapid City Objects at Rest, The Barks. For the past little while, I've been working the door at a place called The Jungle here in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is what I'm here to talk about tonight. But yeah. I'll leave that to later. The first, what did you say? The first what I fell in love with?
The first thing in fandom overall that you fell in love with?
So it's like, you know, Star Wars, for just being at that age at that time. That was the whole country. So that wasn't really me.
Yeah.
Right. Then a little bit more like G.I. Joe was the first, like, got its hooks in where like I felt I had a deeper connection than some of my peers too.
All right.
But then the thing that really like X-Men.
All right. That's it. That just blew your mind.
Yeah, that was the one that was just like, this is who you're going to be for the rest of your life.
So how did you discover the X-Men?
I in the summer before 6th grade, went on a family trip. My stepfather had a lake lot. If you can imagine how exciting that sounds, you combine the thrills of a lake with like the excitement of a lot.
Hey.
That's the lake lot, right? So my mom, my stepdad, and my two siblings were just like there for a week. It seemed, I don't know, it might have been a weekend. It felt like it was forever.
It was torture.
This was in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and there was a, like, if it weren't in Michigan, you would swear it was like in the Old West, like an intersection of two roads that just go infinitely in both directions. And on one corner, there's a little gas station. And on the other corner, there's a junk shop. And in that junk shop was an issue of a box of, I want to say, X-Men 185.
Ooh.
A stack of them, and in magic marker had written on the cover 25 cents.
Oh my God.
And I was like, fuck it, whatever. This looks like it might be entertaining. And I took it home, and I mean, I had read G.I. Joe comics before that. I was familiar with the format, and, you know, I'd heard people talk. You know, I was a kid at the time, so I was aware of how to read a comic, but that was the one where I was like, okay, this is something like if I dig deeper, I will be rewarded. And
Yeah,
so I did, and I was.
yeah. I have a stack of OGI Joe's too, my OGs. I mean, I gotta bag them up. I still, in all these years, they're still not bagged up, but most are in great shape. And some pretty key ones apparently, but they're mine, not for sale. So I don't give a shit what shape they're in because they're mine.
Right, right. I completely agree. Comics are for reading, toys are for playing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have those boxed up for now. I'm just waiting until I get more shelves because otherwise, it's gonna be stuffy. I like my shit to look proper. Anyway, all right. So here you are. You're an X-Men fan. So once you get out of that lot over there, if you will, I'm picturing the Sandlot just with a lake. You know what I mean? Once you got out of there, how did you continue on your discovery then? Did you have more local community that helped put you on to more X-Men, or did you just dive in the local shop?
No, dude, it was so like 80s, 90s, Gen X, suburban. Like I had like my neighbor's older brother. I mean, he was also my neighbor, but my neighbors had a kid my age and a kid my older brother's age.
All right.
And the kid my older brother's age was like, here's Daredevil. And I was like, oh, like, so he kind of clued me into comics. And there was the local comic book store, Troy Stamp and Coin in Troy, Michigan, which was like, in every way run by a mafia gangster, except for the involvement of a mafia crime organization.
What?
Right? If you could picture like a gangster running a comic book store.
Oh man, gotcha. So Tony Rizzo for running a shop.
Right. But like the kind of back end crime family where there's not like shootouts, but it's just like hide that money behind that thing. Like so going to Troy Stamp and Coin, I kind of found the other community of people who were wearing like Wolverine t-shirts and kind of just went from there.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah. I didn't have a gangster store at least, but the guy did look miserable because he had so much inventory. It's like, oh my God, it was the 90s. So
what was your local shop? Where was it?
That was Lorimer Comics, man. I see the guy once in a while. His name was Pete. Big shout out because he got me more hooked, especially with the 90s stuff. But man, he got overwhelmed with inventory, people got money. That's when the bubble popped.
Oh, right.
And this is what I'm afraid might happen soon enough too. You know what I mean? Because all these variants, this, that. I love what indies doing with the crowdfunding, this, that. That's one game, but what the big two and the others is like Jesus, yo.
What I kind of noticed across different fandoms is people who are successful enough in life to buy things that they like to buy things from people they like.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I work the door at the Jungle, so I see a lot of people coming out to be fans of whatever they're fans of, right? And what they want to do is buy something from the band. They don't care if it's a CD. They don't, they don't know what to do with a CD, but if that's what's there, they'll buy it. They'd rather a shirt or some sort of like related, not quite tchotchke, but like some sort of branded item that says, here, person I am a fan of, here is some money. So that's what everybody's in a scramble to find. That's what Kickstarter is like so much closer to. Kickstarter is most of the people I know of who back comic book Kickstarters don't really care if they ever get the comic. They care because not getting it seems disrespectful and crappy. Yes. But if once they opened it up, it disappeared into mist, they wouldn't really care. It's not the continued ownership of it isn't continuing to bring them happiness. It's the idea that I supported this.
Yes. Again, I like to mention this every once in a while, but I'm still waiting for Brigade from Rob Liefeld. I think I've been waiting for that book longer than I've known you at this point. So, and waiting for that effing book. The disrespect, and I will ask for it at a con one day if I see him. I swear.
What if it came out and was worth the wait? What if it hit and you were like, "Oh my god, thank you, that was perfect."
Listen, if I won't talk shit. But at that point, it better be worth its weight in gold. I've been waiting, Each page better make me want to be pause and thought and ponder the universe. You know what I mean?
Indeed, indeed.
Shit. All right. So I hope I get that book eventually. But it is what it is. So, all right. So tell folks again, how you got into creating, and then, as you mentioned, you stepped away. What happened? You got out the ring. ¿Qué pasó?
I got into making comics in high school. My buddies Jason and Kyle, and kind of a little bit later Micah and a few other guys, just the art class guys.
Yeah.
Someone figured out that we could self-publish comics. I remember Micah and I had gone to Motor City Comic-Con, and we saw people kind of our own age with like photocopied comics, and kind of figured out, okay, it's not tracing, and like that's a script. And we started to have meetings at Jason Krause's kitchen table at his mom's house. And that just kind of like continued in sort of different ways. We kind of like learn, like we did the first Motor City Comic Con, our first Motor City Comic Con as Blue Comics. Did some of the early Chicago cons, did Motor City, did conventions in Ohio. By this time I'm going to college. Just kind of thinking in terms of writing comics the whole time.
Yeah.
I wound up living and working in Boston, and I remember now. It's a story I've told on other podcasts where a friend of mine's girlfriend suddenly dropped dead one year.
What?
And I had never met the girlfriend, but I knew my friend and was talking to her like on the phone in like the day or two after this has happened. And I was like, oh, you have to do things. Like, if I want to make comics, I have to make the comics.
Yes.
And that led to me reconnecting with some of the other people. And just since then, it's been I almost said snowball, but if it had snowballed, I'd be much more successful than I am now. What's a slow, painful snowball that eats money?
I don't know. It's just called a vacuum, though. You're in a mini black hole of the comic book vacuums. I don't know.
So I did comics for a long time, and I learned a lot about how to make comics and how to sell comics and a ton of things like that. And other than that, I was also I had begun a career in financial services. Okay. And let's see, I think this timeline lines up, but yeah, just before the pandemic, I decided, you know what? I'm putting my energy in too many different things, and not enough of them are successful. I'm going to stop comics. I'm going to turn off my comics web pages.
Oh, wow.
And focus on sales. And almost immediately after doing that, making that decision, I got married. And then almost immediately after that, the pandemic happened.
Oh, damn.
So I was sort of starting a new career at that time, and it kind of didn't work very well. And so now now I'm doing this.
All right, but wow. All right, so there we go. Will you ever come back to comics? Is there a possibility?
Yeah. Yeah. If I can find a way to do comics that won't find a way to do comics that won't drain all of my energy in the way that comics, and I don't mean my like coffee energy. I mean like my psychic energy, my mental energy,
Yeah.
my will to live energy. If I can find a way that parts of it will be made easier, absolutely. I mean, honestly, if somebody just gave me a bunch of money so I could hire a social media manager and a producer and then
Yeah.
sure. But the fact that like I have to prioritize all of those items winds up being the whole.
Overwhelming. Yeah, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Hey, listen, I do a lot for myself and the team. I try to take care of everybody, and yes, it is overwhelming, and I cannot wait for July. I'm taking the month off, just for my own mental health. It's only, I need
Are
it.
you do you have any specific plans that you care to share?
Well, one definitely thing in July, and and if I have that paper, I think I'm going to be doing this every Friday. It's something called comic book happy hour that I've been showing off right here. Because the way you were talking about it, bro, it sounds like so much fun, and I got to get out the house. Again, that's another thing that as creators we got to do. I like our influencers show this outside life. Those are just but mere minutes and moments. Most of the time, they're in front of these machines for hours editing those 2 minutes you see, or whatever, 30 seconds. It's crazy. You know what I
So
mean?
Al, I had the idea while I was setting this up that I would my laptop that I'm talking on is set up like this, and behind it I have a bigger screen set up. So I thought I'll put the YouTube channel on the bigger screen. So I think that's a thing. And so I turned that on, but then I did this and I forgot that I have the TV on. So every time I kind of look up, it's a Baywatch funeral on the screen in front of me. For some reason, the channel that was on my TV is a Baywatch episode where they're having a funeral. So that's what's going on in the background of you this whole time.
I hope they're dressed at the funeral, though.
It's respectful beachwear.
Oh man. All right, so you said you stepped away from comics and now you got this event going on out here.
Right.
And, up here in the Northeast, in Mass, in Somerville, at the La Jungla in Spanish, but the jungle, baby. Talk about this event, how it was even born. How did this come about, Josh? Because I know my man he has mad mind. So how did this come up?
Can I want to ask you a question raw before I give you a bunch of information about it to get you to like, because this is my favorite part of it is all the like back thought that I've put into it here and there comes down to the tagline. The tagline is like, to me, like a perfect kernel meme that says everything you need to know, which is sometimes you want to go where everybody knows Thor's hammer's name.
Yes. I heard the piano. You guys update it a little bit more Asgardly. It'll be a wrap, son.
So the idea is, like, if you know Thor's hammer's name, you'll probably enjoy coming to Comic Book Happy Hour. If you don't care, if you're like, yeah, I kind of know what it is, but why would I remember that? Then probably you won't be too interested in Comic Book Happy Hour. Like the earlier version of it was sometimes you want to go where everybody knows all 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles names, right? Most people know some of them, right?
Yep.
But if you know all 4 and are not guessing, then probably you would enjoy coming to the Comic Book Happy Hour.
There we go. So when was this born? When was this born, bro? I need to know, how did this even come about?
So how did it exactly? Oh, I guess you could trace its lineage way back to I used to get comic books every Wednesday with my friends in college. And at one point, they demolished the Taco Bell across the street and built a new Taco Bell right next to the comic book store. So you could park your car and walk to get new comic books and then walk over and sit at Taco Bell and read them. And there's nothing better than that. So,
and for geeks, yeah, bro.
I mean, in the late 90s.
Oh yeah, I mean, yo, what you could get at Taco Bell with $5, you know what I mean, and comic books, weren't like at the price point now. I mean, for $10, you have a great time.
And a fountain soda, and like you're good to go. So then I wound up later on in Boston in like, I don't know, 2005, 2006, or maybe later. I don't know. Whatever. But I wanted to do that again, and this was kind of in the early days of like Craigslist kind of things, where people were doing like, "Hey, do you want to meet up and play basketball?" or something like that. So,
holy shit!
Through a few different versions of things, I kind of just invited random people to come hang out and talk about comic books, right?
All right.
And so that started to be a regular Wednesday thing for like years, with basically me and my friend Mike and my other friend Josh, and a few different people kind of came in and out of it, but it was like us doing that. So, things happen, people get married, other stuff happens, things become more difficult. So after the pandemic, I found myself working at this little bar in Somerville, Massachusetts. Somerville is, if you're not from Massachusetts, Somerville is the same thing as Boston, right? But if you're from Boston, you're not from Somerville. If you're from, it's.
I know. Listen, like New York City is New York City, but if you're from Brooklyn, you're still New York City. But New York City, you're not from Brooklyn.
Right. You can get to my house,
New York City.
You can get to my house and to the jungle on Boston's public transportation, right? But we have a different mayor. So, so I was working at the jungle and kind of found out how the people who book the specific nights, like for example, here's a plug, Wednesday night at the jungle every week is open mic and karaoke. Actually, this isn't, it is the funnest night of the week of the year. Wednesday night at the jungle in Union Square. It's like getting started right now.
Is there like a live band or DJ playing the music?
It is, for the start of it, it is, I was just distracted by Baywatch again.
I know. It was a great show.
But it's so fucking funny. I wish I could describe it, but it would derail this whole thing even more. So, right. So I got to know how the promoter, Greatness AF, Greatness as Fuck, does basically books the shows and gets paid for the shows. And I thought I could probably get some people into the room to drink some beer on a Wednesday. So I kind of planned an event that would be just like this for a Wednesday. And the deal was, if you brought new comic books with you, you would get half off your food order.
Oh, cool.
Right. So the idea is everybody who's going to the local shops, Hub Comics right there in Union Square. Hub Comics is a great shop. They're friends of ours. Nice. Or further up the road at Comiccrusaders, another great award-winning shop. Friends of ours over in Harvard Square, Million Year Picnic. Million Year Picnic is, I believe, the oldest still operating comic book store on the East Coast, maybe in the whole country. They're friends of ours, so kind of like did a little promotion. But ultimately, that version of it didn't work. Basically, I was working 3 jobs at that time and didn't know how to promote it. And it just, nobody knew what it was, and it didn't work. Jump ahead to about January of this year. the club owner, Sam, who's a great guy, and really just by the will of Sam wanting to have a place like the Jungle, there's an incredibly cool music scene in Somerville right now. Like him having that place has kind of created other places. There's this incredible, loving, supportive, cool, like,
yeah.
I've worked the door there at this tiny rat-infested alley. The alley is rat-infested, not the bar. Like, I've worked the door there since the pandemic, and the times where it's even felt close to stressful or dangerous have been 3 or 4. Like, nothing to even be like conscious of. It's so nice, and the heart of that is the open mic that I mentioned before, where if you're new and trying something out, it's a really big deal and everybody celebrates it. My buddy David is getting up there for the first time and singing tonight. Like, when I get off with you, I have to run down there because I can't miss.
Oh, snap.
Right. Another friend of mine who's a bartender over there, Rohan, gets up and reads fiction at an open mic. And this is this is not at a empty coffee house open mic. This is like the person before and after him are super aggressive, super sexual, hip hop, like what the fuck ever you want at an open mic, and still supportive of somebody who wants to get up there and be ballsy enough to try reading. Here's a short story I wrote.
All right.
And everybody, I mean, you know, it's easier to keep people in the room if it has a beat. I'll be on, you know, everybody knows that. But it's that kind of vibe. It's the kind of like, what are you doing? That sounds like the coolest thing I ever did. Let's do it. So my buddy Astro and I tried to kind of copy that on the Friday afternoon, right? Because our Friday afternoon slot was a little dead. We wanted to boost it up. So we tried to do another open mic with my idea was to make it very much Instagram driven, as in you'd book your slot at open mic through Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that part worked very, very well. Those metrics were measurable and effective, and my plan fucking worked.
Yay! There we go.
The external support to make it happen wasn't there, and I didn't put the energy into promoting that. So then it kind of opened up again. We were like, well, what do we want to do with this 2-hour slot on Fridays? And Sam was like, Josh, do you want to try your comic book thing? So I was like, hell yeah. Put up some posters at local comic book stores. Okay, the deal with Sam, which is if you bring in comic books from a local comic book shop, or a receipt from a local comic book shop, or I guess a local nerd culture store. Like, I guess if you came in, I just found out there's a local sort of small publisher bookstore kind of around the corner from us there. And I'm like, I guess they'd have comic books. I guess we can stretch the rules. But basically, if you're supporting a local business in some way, you get half off your food order during those hours. And
that
so what that
cool, bro. Fuck yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna eat like a beast and have a good time then.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit, bro. So I mean, so at the happy hour, I mean, what's the crowd like? What's the vibe like? What type of fun events and stuff are we getting down with during those 2 hours?
So my buddy Astro, who was the original bartender at those events and is kind of the promoter for some of those Friday nights, is also the owner of a company called Super Party Bros. Like, and what they do is they set up video game cabinets at private events, right? Like, you're having a bachelor party or something, they roll in with like a Simpsons game and Pac-Man and whatever, and it's just like, so we've had those there a couple times as just kind of fun noise and I don't know, free video games. It's pretty cool. And other than that, I've been trying to resist my impulse and keep it to basically nothing, right? Everybody has, so when I talk to comic book creators say, Oh, that's cool. You could have like panels and stuff like that, and vendors like selling stuff. And yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
no wait.
But when I talk to when I talk to people who are kind of comic book fans, people who legitimately love like Deadpool, but like have only maybe read one or two comics, and no disrespect, no gatekeeping. That's a perfectly valid kind of fandom.
Yeah.
Those people tend to say things like, "Oh, you could have like games or like a trivia contest or something like that," and I'm like, that sounds really cool and fun. But what has happened is people who want the social version of the casual but specific interaction you get from a really good internet group, right? Like a really good Facebook group. You kind of go in and talk about model trains, right? Ask a question about model trains, find out about model trains, watch a little video about model trains, and then you leave, right? You're not really making friends. You're just kind of having a friendship.
Yeah, exactly. You go in, you network. Hello, what's up, buddy? Then you start learning who's what, who's who. You step in and out. I get it. Hey.
So that is, I think, what people are finding at this at Comic Book Happy Hour. So I've had consistently 5 or 6 people there, sometimes a little bit more. If there's a little bit more, they're almost certainly not there for Comic Book Happy Hour. They're almost certainly there early for the band, which is starting at like 8. But whatever. I've had in those circumstances people like chime in and be like, "Oh, cool, we're good at comic books." Hold on. Let me ask you this. Just as I've pitched it, if you walk through those doors, what are you currently expecting to find there?
I mean, fellow nerds, opportunity to network, chit chat, I mean, I ask those questions about trivia and stuff because when they say happy hour, like for example, at some bars that I've gone to, they do little, trivia things. Hey, team up, guys, and we'll give you a prize or drinks on the house type joint. Little things like that. But but definitely for me, it is that networking, meeting like-minded folks, and just seeing what they're about. As a natural podcaster, I'm just inquisitive and I've become more social outside of just doing what I do. So I'm a little bit more now, of an extrovert than an introvert that I was,
As this kind of person, as we all are nowadays, right? This extrovert introvert thing, you sort of recognize in yourself when you're like, "Oh my God, I'm saying the awkward, horrible thing and I can't quite stop, but I'll just run through it," and then you kind of laugh it off. So is that a familiar experience to you, to most people?
Absolutely, but I won't laugh it off. I'll just say it. Hey, I said it. It is what it is. Hate me.
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, if you said something awful, like, okay, repair that. But for the most part, people are just
if I just something awful, and if I offend, I'm sorry if I offended you. Right. You felt offended. I mean, that's not my intent. I never mean to offend.
So what I have seen at these events at Comic Book Happy Hour is people kind of getting into that sort of avalanche of, "Oh my God, I'm just mouth vomiting about my thing." And then when they come up to apologize for it, they say, "Oh, everybody's kind of listening. All right, I guess I'll keep mouth vomiting about my thing." And people kind of go like, "Okay, cool." And then people do get a little bored after a minute or two, but by then it's like, "Oh, okay, cool, fun." And like you're on to another thing, or somebody else mouth vomits about a thing. It's like, it's a fun thing to watch happen. It's really cool. I've seen.
That's why I like to save those people when I see it dragging too long. Say, wait a minute, and then I try to throw in a little something just to move the conversation. Come on, guys, come on. Again,
here's a great thing that I work as a door guy over there, so my whole job is standing outside and talking to people. So one of the best skills that people can learn, if you can tell them, is like, "Hey, buddy, learn to pass the mic once in a while."
Hell yeah.
Learn to pass the mic once in a while. That, like, people go, "Oh yeah, sure." And what do you think? And
Humble yourself. Yes. Humble yourselves, folks. We all got to talk about our fandom and what we love. Now, I don't want to keep Josh too long. I don't want him speeding to see his boy where he's at.
I'm
but
going
again,
on foot. I'm going on foot no matter what. Don't worry about that.
all right, let's check this out, folks. Comic Book Happy Hour is every Friday, right? Between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. All right, at 6 Sanborn Court in Somerville. All right,
That's right in Union Square. The
Union
Square, the Green Line train. If you're anywhere within the Boston, Massachusetts MBTA range, the Green Line drops you off right at our back door.
Oh, really? The Green Line. All right, I'll keep that in mind. We got to talk that. I have a car. I don't mind driving, but again, if it's a happy hour, I want to have fun.
And parking here is awful. Do not come here counting on parking. If you get it, fantastic. Can I pitch one more aspect of this thing that kind of
absolutely.
So
you gotta tell people where everything's at, though, especially if you're up here, you gotta do it.
Oh yeah.
Popping.
But check it out. This is also entirely memeable. If you live in a place where there's a dense enough population that there's enough comic book people who are thirsty on a Friday, like you couldn't do this in a small town or a more spread out city. There's not enough population density.
Yes, I know.
But anyone who's living in an area with any sort of population density and enough, like a little bit of disposable income, enough income to buy comic books, like there's no reason why this can't pop up in every city. But here's the thing I'm really excited about is initially when I started this, I was using AI generated images in my advertising.
Okay.
And I know that's controversial and I don't, but my thing is I did not care about those images. So if you tell me that's not really art, I'm like, yeah, I know. I just want.
You did it for a business sense kind of idea of what you're working on. That's all.
It's right. And I accept that there's moral issues so an artist friend of mine, in fact, when I told you about my middle school buddies, Jason and Kyle, Jason, who still works in design, didn't call me out on it, but he asked me about it. He's like, are you using AI? And kind of let me know, like, that's not cool, bro, but like, that might not be cool. Yeah. So I was like, well, how else can I get eye-catching comic book related art without offending the art community, without
breaking your pocket either? You know what I mean?
Right. Because if I try to pay for it, thus far from Comic Book Happy Hour, I've made about $100. So what is my advertising budget? What am I going to bring to an artist? Here's $7. Can you think of a sketch idea and tell me about it? Think of an idea. So, but what I came up with was if I contact creators who are in the last week of their Kickstarter, right? If your Kickstarter ends on Friday, donate some art to me. So then all week I'm like, check out Steamroller Man, right? This week's.
Now I see why when I saw Steamroller Man, hold on, I'm gonna bring that right up. My man,
yeah.
No, you are a fuck. I see it. When I saw that image, I said, Steamroller Man in my head. I don't know if you saw how I looked when that image came on. I was like, how are you using that? Oh shit. Kudos. Great
Everybody
idea.
Listening to this, go find Steamroller Man on Kickstarter. It's ending in the next few days. It is as fun as it looks. If you check out the 90s zine looking underground comic vibe down there, like it is as cool as it looks. And so this is the fun, positive answer to AI. I was using AI and having enough fun. Now I get to team up with artists, help them promote. If not for this, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. Anyone who hears this and clicks on it, this right now, this is so much fun. And also, anyone listening to this, hearing this, even the recorded version of it far off into the future, that was last week's. I'm sorry I did not promote that very much. That was Cloud Raiders. And I did not promote it very much because I did not screen the creator of that Topper
Helmer right there.
Topper Helmer does not have a very good, very big Instagram or Facebook presence. He's promoting this other ways. So my ways of promoting it did not click with that very well. So I was not able to help that book very well, and I feel bad about that. On the other hand,
are you a figure man too over here though?
Oh yeah, my main jam is taking pictures of action figures.
Oh man, you and my brother Chris Crash, which is the one that's watching over here. Chris Crash, salute. He a figure because I love this image at top you did here, bro.
Oh, isn't that so much fun?
Yo, bro, I was peeping it, because I got them. I don't have the bad girl, but I do have the pirate, but in a box still.
Okay, yeah. Jack
I'm a
Sparrow,
Skeletor. I got a Skeletor collection and a Cobra Commander collection and a Megatron collection.
You got a Cobra Commander collection?
Dreadnoughts.
Oh,
that's my shit. I got all the original Dreadnoughts, and I'm getting every single classified.
So listen. This comes back. Let me ask you a dumb question. Can I talk to you about Cobra Commander for a minute?
Go ahead. Give me some Cobra Commander, because that last series from Energon Universe showed me the birth of the Cobra in a new way. Beautiful. Anyway.
So I can't swing the camera around to show you, but I have a framed picture of Cobra Commander hanging on my wall straight in front of me. My buddy Mike bought it for me a couple years ago at Motor City Comic Con, and when I got it, I was like overcome with emotion a little bit. More than I expected to be, right? Not like overcome, but I was like, why is this so significant to me? Like, why do I? And not directly related to that. A couple of years ago, my friend Johnny C, you know Johnny C.
I know Johnny C, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Johnny C, through some other connections, was able to help me get a gig at Vermont Comic Con interviewing Larry Hama. So I sat and talked to Larry Hama for an hour, and it was amazing. And we talked about Cobra Commander, right? And late after that, I was thinking about Cobra Commander, like, what's his deal? And it occurred to me, the cast and leadership of G.I. Joe has changed over the years, right? Cobra Commander, except for when he's been replaced or killed or gone, Cobra Commander is the character that is the star of that comic book for years and years. Yeah. Same thing even with the cartoon, right? Yeah. Right? Even the cast of the cartoon changed, but Cobra Commander continued to be there. And if you measured his success in terms of successful Cobra plans, he is 0 for however many, 0 for infinity, right? He is by all existing measures a failure, and yet he does not stop. In fact, he gets more enthusiastic, right? If you measure his success not based on successfully actuated schemes, if you measure his success by counting the crazy schemes with cool friends, he's on, like, he starts off with one crazy scheme with one cool friend. Then it's 10 crazy schemes with 10 crazy friends, right? And that metric of success has been what guided me every step of the way.
All hail Cobra!
All hail Cobra. And it is just because listen, when I was doing this with AI, it was a crazy plan, but without a cool friend. Now that I'm doing it as a crazy plan with a cool friend, in this case, Matt Schofield, who is doing Steamroller Man, and you, Al, now that I'm doing this crazy plan with cool friends, hail Cobra, now it is successful.
Let's go. Listen, man. I know where I go wrong. I wish you could see it. They're right there. I got the original. I got the hooded. You know what I mean?
Where can I see pictures of them? Do you have them on your Instagram? Can I see?
I'll share them with you personally. That way you could get geeked out on and especially my Megatron collection and my Skeletors and my Dreadnoughts. Okay. Everybody loves my Dreadnoughts.
Let me put this idea in your head. I know I mentioned before in some way instigating, bringing the comic book Crusaders to Comic Book Happy Hour in some way, recording a thing there or something like that. Now that you got the vibe of it, you might be like, oh, okay, that's cool. But also, I know that you mentioned you're going to be exploring your surroundings in the next few sometime. let me extend a personal invitation to you and your Cobra action figures. When you come out to Somerville to come to Comic Book Happy Hour, let me know, because I am drooling to take pictures of those action figures.
Bro,
I am drooling more than looking up at the Baywatch in front of me. I want to take pictures of your action figures, my friend.
Right, I'll do it. I'll bring those. I actually got the original Cobra Hiss, Cobra Fang, and the Jeep, the originals.
The Stinger?
You know what I mean? With the original drivers. All right? I mean, shit. I mean, yeah, bro. I'm happy. That's one thing that I'm happy that happened after my broken heart. I got into my fandom just a little bit more to try to fill that hole. And you know what I mean? It's been making me happy. Like finding little things from childhood, you know what I mean?
Well, look, when something else fills that emotional void for you, when you find a person to be that person will tell you, dummy, get rid of those things. And you will. And you know what? Some other lonely guy who needs the emotional help that Destro can provide will buy that from you.
I got Destro too, OG, man. Let me grab.
No, hold on. Watch me not even get up from my fucking chair. Watch me not even get up from my chair. Oh, who's that? Is that Copperhead?
Wait. I'm gonna show you OGs, bro. Oh, nice though. I got the OG Copperhead. Don't make me play right now, bro. I got OG. Hold on. Kaboom. OG Firefly.
Oh.
OG, bro.
Do you have his? Oh my God. Do you have the?
I don't have the hand thing. That's the only thing I'm missing. The phone.
Let me tell you about that phone. When I was a little kid, I was playing with Firefly. Oh, he's so handsome. I've got the new version of him right over here. Anyway, when I was a little kid, I was playing with Firefly on the rug. My mom went by with the vacuum, and I was like, "Mom, the little thing got stuck up in there." And she took the vacuum outside onto the back porch, and she showed me how to open up the bag and dumped it out. And I went through there, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it. And I went and I told her, and I was like, "Mom, I can't find it." And that was the first time I experienced like, tough luck, kid. And she did not say those words, but that's when I understood, like, oh, I care about this more than she does.
I wish I had the phone. That little phone costs money, man. But look how mint he is, dude. Look how mint. Look. All right, straight, man.
Yeah, mint. That's tight.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God, bro. All right, good. I'm happy to have found a fellow G.I. Joe fan. My brothers as well have become G.I. Joe like murderers. Did you see the compendium that has just released on Kickstarter that got funded in 6 minutes? 6 minutes funding.
The average funder is $400.
Jesus.
Average person buying a G.I. Joe comic book that is universally available. You can read it anywhere. Nobody is buying this because they need it. Nobody is buying it because they need it.
Yeah, they just want the look of it on their shelf. And if I was able to afford it, I would definitely do the Cobra collection, the Cobra covers only. I don't give a shit. Listen, I know G.I. Joe, yeah, good for you. Cobra!
Listen, my favorite toys are the G.I. Joes. I love the G.I. Joe toys. But my favorite, Cobra. I have Cobra stuff, like Cobra. If I'm going to wear a logo, it's going to be a Cobra logo, not a G.I. Joe logo. This guy right here. Fuck yeah.
Decepticons and Cobra. Yeah. I have to. This is my only nerd tattoo because listen, I am loyal, right, to my shit. I'm a fucking villain to the core, but I'm a villain with a heart. Listen, a villain's only a villain in your eyes, right? Every story, it's all in the eye of the beholder of what a bad guy story really is, right? Is that really a bad guy? You know what I mean? Sometimes they choose love, and it sounds selfish, but hey, that's what they do.
I love my version of Cobra Commander, who's just unchecked capitalism and greed, and whatever works, he does it because it works. He's a yes and terrorist.
Yeah.
And it's just The
And a car salesman. Remember, he's a car salesman.
Yeah.
Shit. Did he sell you any bad cars? All right. Yeah, Josh, but you're awesome. But I did the conversation. We're definitely going to talk so that we'll get over there, bring these toys so that way, and bring your equipment so you can take some sexy shots over there, and we have a good time. But folks, please, this is what you guys got to do. If you're out here in Massachusetts area, Connecticut, you know what I mean, New Hampshire, whatever, come on down to Somerville. Comic Book Happy Hour. It's on Instagram and Facebook every viernes, baby, 5 to 7.
Come out on a Friday when you're coming to Boston for another reason. This is a perfect thing. If you're vacationing in Boston, make this part of your visit.
Yeah, just come on down and have fun. You know, this is what you do. This is my man right here, Big Josh Dahl. I'm Al Mega. Thank you guys for listening and hanging out. Oh, you know, links are below. Show some love and support for Indy. I know my man's coming back to comics. He's doing this. He's making new connections. And I know that fire is going to be relit, baby, because we need more of the Dahlverse out here, all right? Let's make it happen. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Huepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercover.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.